Okay, imagine this. Going your whole life thinking you know who your family is and where you come from, only to find out, not true. The PBS show, Finding Your Roots, hosted by the well-known Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr., uses DNA to help celebrities learn about their ancestors. On tonight's show, local activist and Sirius XM host, you all know this guy, Joe Madison, he makes a shocking discovery about his family. Take a look at this first, the trailer.
On Finding Your Roots, actor Ty Burrell
That is amazing.
and radio host Joe Madison.
Never had dreamed that this could exist.
Family legends
You believe the story?
I think there was probably some shame there or something.
and shocking stories.
Who is that?
Joe, that is your biological father.
I have seen that face. I could not tell you where.
Finding Your Roots, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central, only on PBS.
Joe Madison. So, Joe, when Henry Louis Gates Jr. calls you, when Skip calls you and says, we want to do you, want to trace your roots, want to...
Oh, I was thrilled, absolutely thrilled. I mean, it's a program that's been on PBS for 10 years. And, you know, so we've known each other. And he says, let's, you know, you ready? Let's do it. And I didn't find out anything, hadn't heard from him for probably about 3, maybe 4 years.
When he approached you, who was your dad? Who'd you think your natural father was?
Oh, I mean, I had to send photographs. I had to send paper, birth certificates, all of that. We sent all of that. I get this call on a Saturday morning, and he says, I've got good news, I've got bad news. Good news, we finally have finished. We're ready for episode 10. The bad news is that Felix Madison is not your father. What do you mean? He's not your biological father. Who is? And he proceeds to tell me, and they have, by policy, they have to tell you. They can't surprise you on the air. And he began to explain. And not only did he tell me this man is not your, that this is your father, he says, by the way, you've got 2 brothers. And they don't know you. We can tell you who they are, and we're going to bring all 3 of you together.
I want to make sure the guy you thought was your natural father and your mom are both now passed.
Everybody
right?
is passed.
Everybody.
And that's it. That was the other question you always ask, you know,
Right.
are they still alive?
Yeah. So
And
you don't
they
put
weren't.
some. Okay. All right. So, who does your natural father turn out to be? Who is he?
He is,
Who was
well, is Haygood,
Okay.
and Bo Haygood. He lived in Dayton. That's how they were able to, the DNAs kept matching. And we eventually lived and moved to Los Angeles, California. And, yeah.
And you got a grandfather.
A
on that-
grandfather, which was Haygood's father, who, by the way, was part of the Tuskegee experiment. And what people will see is the medical record where he was part of those 200 African Americans in that infamous medical catastrophe.
What was the experiment? A lot of people don't know.
Oh, the experiment was they took these 200 men and they wanted to find out what the effect would be of certain medicine on syphilis. Now,
Right.
they never told them they did or didn't have syphilis, but you know what they did with the grandfather was they wrote on his medical record, and Professor Gates Skip shows this, they discarded him.
Right.
And what you're going to see is the reason they discarded him was because he looked white.
Okay. Who else was in your family?
Oh,
what other
well,
discovery?
I've got a ancestor who fought for General Lee at Gettysburg, spent the rest of the war in a Union camp, went home, married the black woman next door to him. They couldn't live together. I've got a relative who an ancestor removed who ran away from Chesterfield, Virginia as a slave, wanted to fight for the revolutionists. He instead went and fought for the British because General Washington wouldn't accept African Americans.
Joe, I've known you for years. You sound excited about all this. I mean, you now have stories.
Oh God, I have stories, and I have to visit Nova Scotia because that's where some of the family ended up. I've got to go to Mississippi, and I got to go to Antigua. That won't be a hard trip.
And you met a couple of siblings, right?
They brought us all together for the first time. We didn't know each
They're
other.
going to be in this show tonight.
They're going to be in the show tonight.
Okay, how are you guys getting along?
Oh, man, it's like the younger one, I'm the middle one, so that's why I'm the one that acts up. But the younger one, he's thrilled because he thought he was the only child. The older one and I, we went to elementary and high school together and didn't know. And he knew of me, but
Right.
we didn't know we were related.
This is incredible. And
Yeah.
thanks for coming on and sharing this
Oh
with us,
man, it's going to be interesting.
We were talking in the green room. We have the same stories, but we don't have time for my
Yeah.
stories some other time. I've already
Thank
written
you.
about it.
Yeah,
Thanks, Joe.
thank
Appreciate it,
you.
man. Finding Your Roots airs tonight, 8 o'clock on PBS. Joe Madison. Thanks for coming
Thank
in,
you.
brother. Appreciate it, man.